That all too familiar ache around your knee. It's something that many cyclists struggle with up to 62% of us suffering with it, according to the most recent research. It plagued me for years, and as a young personal trainer and coach, I tried all the things I had in my toolbox to fix it. Foam rolling, mobility work, strengthening exercises, and even getting a bike fit as well. Some of it helped, but the pain always seemed to come back, until I learned one surprisingly simple exercise. And it's not this, or even this. It's something far much more straightforward and completely changed how my knee felt, both on and off the bike, and it may help you too. It's an exercise that requires no equipment, takes just a few minutes, and is one that I give to a lot of my clients now to help bulletproof their knees. Today I want to show you exactly what it is, why it might help you, and exactly how to implement it for the best results. Knee pain sucks, and it impacted my riding for so many years. Every time I'd sort of want to ride a little bit more, or try and push on the bike that little bit further, or introduce one more ride a week, maybe than my normal 2 or 3, it just started to flare up, impacting how much I could do. It then even started to impact other areas that weren't on the bike as well, such as my sort of gym work, any running I used to do, and even just walking down the stairs got really painful. It's such a common issue for cyclists, and it's known as the most common overuse injury for us. And if you search on YouTube, as you might have done to find this video, knee pain while cycling, there are so many videos, it affects so many different people. And as a young personal trainer back in the day, before I knew a little bit more about injuries, rehab, and how the body worked, as I mentioned, I tried loads of things to get rid of my own knee pain, such as foam rolling, trying to foam roll my quads, my hamstrings, and my calf. I tried loads of stretching and mobility work. I was trying hip flexor stretches, quad stretches, calf stretches, hamstring stretches, you name it. I tried it, but unfortunately, none of it had any effect. I even tried running a lot of the mobility assessments I now still run with a lot of my clients, trying to see if it was something further up at my hip that was impacting my knee pain, because if you didn't know, well, the knee's a fairly sort of simple joint, but often it's impacted by things that are happening below it, at the ankle, or even above it at the hip. So I tested my sort of hip flexion, extension, internal, external rotation, you name it, I tried it, but I couldn't really pick up any issues that might be affecting my knee. I then also got a bike fit, and I'd 100% recommend you getting a bike fit, especially if you have knee pain, because it doesn't matter how strong, mobile, flexible, whatever you are, if you're wrapped up like a pretzel and your knees are pointing in every direction on your bike, of course you're going to be more prone to knee pain no matter how strong your body is. And in my case, the bike fit helped, but it didn't fix it. The pain kept returning because there was something still missing. And for me, the turning point, or revelation if you want to call it that, came about 5 years ago through my continued learning as a PT and a coach, and it completely fixed my knee pain and was an absolute game changer. And I just want to caveat at this point that, of course, I'm not a physio, I'm a personal trainer and a coach and a sort of strength expert, I suppose. And knee pain has many causes. As I mentioned before, it could be due to your bike setup, it could be due to, I don't know, an old ACL injury that you have, or it could be due to some kind of mobility deficiency at your hip. So this exercise is going to be really key and safe for you to try in most cases, but of course if you have a specific injury, do go see a physio. But this is going to help a lot of people, especially if your pain is sort of around the kneecap, just below the kneecap on that patella tendon, or above the kneecap on that quadricep tendon. And I recommend it to all cyclists, whether you have knee pain or not, and it actually comprises part of my warm-up in my free Ride Strong workout PDF. So if you are looking for a simple equipment-free plan just to get started on some strength work, you can find that in the description below. But we'll come on to exactly how many sets and reps you need to do in the exact technique in just a minute. But the exercise itself, and bear with me here because you may think that's way too simple to cause my knee pain, but I'll explain exactly how it works, is the wall sit. And more specifically, what we call isometric exercises targeting the quad or that patella tendon that I mentioned. There are many other exercises that kind of target the quad and the patella tendon, but this is one of the most basic ones that you can do without kit, and it's very easy to do and set yourself up to do. And it's so effective for many varieties of knee pain. It works by sort of providing what we call an analgesic effect. So if you do this exercise correctly, it will actually kind of dampen the pain. But it also strengthens that quadricep tendon or that patella tendon, wherever it is you're struggling as well. So it's so good for kind of bulletproofing the knee, no matter whether you have a knee injury or not. And because it requires no movement, and is what we call an isometric exercise, there's no movement, it's not an isotonic movement like a squat, for example. It's very safe for most of us, and it's very low impact. It's very easy to scale, and it helps to build tendon stiffness and tendon durability, potentially reducing your risk of injury in future too. And most importantly, it lays the foundation for better quad strength and more quad strengthening exercises further down the line. And how it really helped me was that not only did it strengthen my patellar tendon, the thing that was sort of bugging me, but it also allowed me, with that analgesic effect, to actually do that at the start of a session and then actually work on my quad strength, which for me was the thing that was lacking and is actually a very common issue for a lot of people. And that was exactly why I had knee pain, because my quads were so weak. A lot of the force and a lot of the stress of cycling, but also all the other stuff I was doing, was all going into that patellar tendon and into the knee itself. And isometrics like this exercise are used in many rehab settings, and they set a nice solid foundation for then any strengthening work that we can do afterwards. To do the wall sit, you're just looking for a flat wall, whether that's at home or in the gym if you're doing some strength work there. All you're going to do is set yourself down up against the wall. You can start fairly high up, and if you're more of a beginner or have weaker quads or more knee pain, starting higher up's going to be a really great way to start. So heels on the floor, toes pointing forwards, chest nice and tall, and we're just going to hold this position here. To make it more difficult, or as you progress, or as your knee pain sort of starts to subside potentially, you can work yourself that little bit lower, still staying on two legs. You can then go even further and bring your feet in just a little bit as well. That's again going to make the movement harder because your knees are going to go further forward over your toes, meaning you're sort of at more or less than a 90-degree angle now at your knees too. Once you can kind of manage that, and I'll tell you the timings in just a second, then we can even move on to one leg as well. That's going to make it a lot more difficult. So again, you can move further up. So starting here on one leg, that's going to provide some more resistance on one side. Then again, you can kind of move down to this 90-degree position on one leg and hold it there. And then again, you can go even lower too. There are lots of other variations you can introduce as well. If you wanted to, you could have a foam roller on your back, for example. That's going to make things a little bit trickier because you're sort of less stable and having to push that little bit harder against it. You can put like a Bosu ball or a yoga ball against your back as well. And you can even come up onto your toes and implement strategies like that as well to make it a little bit more difficult, get some calf work in there as well. But the kind of flat on the floor, back on the wall sit is the most standard and basic variation, is probably going to work well for quite a lot of people. Ideally, you want to pick a variation that allows you to kind of be in that position for 45 seconds. And towards the end of the 45 seconds, you should probably be really feeling it in the quads and kind of really starting to shake. You don't want to end your 45-second wall sit with loads more left in the tank, of course, unless you have a lot of knee pain going on. And ideally, we're looking for around about 3 to 4 sets. You can do that every day, and because it's an isometric exercise, it's not kind of fatiguing things too much. It's not, if you want to call it that, sort of tearing the muscle fibers or damaging things too much. So it's something you can do frequently every single day, especially before you go out on a ride as well, potentially, or especially before you do any strength work in the gym or at home, wherever you're doing it. And as you progress, as your quads get stronger or your knee pain maybe starts to reduce, you can just go that little bit lower for each 45-second bout or move on to one leg. And then once things start to feel really good, you can maybe introduce some proper quad, glute and hamstring strengthening exercises into your routine with that reduced knee pain that you now have. I know not everyone's the same, but that's exactly what helped me. That kind of gradual progression of getting lower, then moving into more complex exercises really helps to kind of get rid of my knee pain once and for all. So if you are dealing with knee pain, of course, get a bike fit. Also potentially go and see a physio if it's something that's getting worse. But the wall sit is going to be a key foundation and fundamental, and it's really going to help if you do have a little bit of knee pain below that kneecap on that tendon or above the kneecap on that tendon as well. It's going to be a first port of call before you then look at building some more strengthening exercises such as your squats and lunges into your routine. Something else that's super important to implement to start to prevent some injuries is a thorough warm-up. And I know we all hate doing them, but do check out this video here where I go through a 5-minute powerful follow-along warm-up that you can use before every ride. Ride strong, and I'll catch you in the next one.